Okay, it's 7:01. We're going to call the meeting to order. Everybody's here in person except Sue's here on phone. Sue, can you hear everything okay?
Yes, I can, thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have any deletions or additions to the agenda?
Nope.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Deb? Deb? Andy? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, committee reports. Our financial report. Cash in the bank as of 12/31/21, $777,537.56, compared to 12/31/20, $710,912.93, difference of $66,624.63 in the positive. This time I'd like to introduce Tara, our new receptionist. She's come in tonight. Everybody say hi to her. She started Monday. She's so far doing a fantastic job. We're glad to have her. Clay, would you like to read the Sheriff's Department report?
Sure. So far, as of December 21st, total calls was 254 calls. 11 investigations, 18 disturbances, 7 theft, suspicious activity 17, 11 traffic accidents, 50 miscellaneous calls, 60 other calls, total arrests 4. And we have an active warrant of 1, property damage of 1, driving while revoked 1, and theft 1. And then trespassing 24, and traffic violations 11. So they've been pretty busy. Total monthly miles, that's pretty cool, 5,756 miles. So they've been cruising around everywhere.
Okay, Deb, you want to give the fire department report?
The fire department report for December, they had 29 calls. One was an administration call, one was assist for fire, 2 were for chest pain, 2 was a controlled burn, 1 breathing problems, 3 individuals fell, investigation for fire 2, moving vehicle accident, unknown injury 1, residential fire 4, sick person 5, stroke 1, unconscious 4, and then there was a vehicle fire. Their average response time for December was 7 minutes. They also held their Christmas dinner at Colton's in Farmington, and 21 firefighters and their spouses attended, so they had a great turnout. They also held 4 training sessions in December, and they trained on air pack usage, search and rescue, and truck pumping. And other surrounding departments are now adding Terralac back to their alarms. So it seems like we are moving forward and making progress.
Okay, and we have no Public Works Department report for this month. I will say the guys will be out. It looks like now they're gonna come in about midnight and start pre-treating the roads for tomorrow's storm. They was gonna come in at 4 a.m., but they've kind of backed that up a little bit, so they're gonna come in about midnight and get started, just take any precautionary, try to keep the roads safe as we can. I'm not expecting much, but every little bit counts. Okay. This time we had our annual election. It's time to have the new board members come up. Mr. Keithley is not here. I'd like to take this time to thank him for his service. He's been a board member, I believe, 3 or 4 times now. Done an outstanding job, put a lot of time in, and we're really gonna miss him. And then Adam, this is his last year too. Gonna miss him. He's played a great role getting things done, and this time we're gonna replace those 2 with Jay Glasgow and Jeremy Turnbow. If you guys would like to come up at this time. Okay, at this time, we're going to do our election of officers. And we'll start with the president. I'll make the motion. I would like to make a motion to nominate Jay Glasgow for president. Who, somebody? Andy? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Suzie?
Sue?
Aye. Aye.
So, okay,
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Dwayne Pat as vice president.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Suzie,
You're not asking for other nominations?
you're welcome to.
I don't have one, but just
Okay.
asking if you are.
No. Go to the next one.
I need a motion for,
I vote yes for Dwayne.
okay. Need a motion for secretary. I'd like to make a motion, nominate Deb Thacker for secretary.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Suzie?
Aye, but you should ask for any other nominations and a vote.
That's what you do before you second it, or right when you second it. Anybody's welcome to. Anybody got anybody else for any position?
No, we're good.
Okay,
Okay.
need a motion for treasurer.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Clay Whitener as treasurer.
I'll second that motion. All
Any
those-
Can
oth-
you ask for
any other nominations?
and-
Nope, we're good. All those in favor?
Aye. Suzie?
Aye.
Okay, this time, Mr. Glasgow will be president, I'll be vice president, Deb secretary, and Clay treasurer. So, you wanna take a seat, everybody? Take a seat with Mike.
Wow. Never had an election with no one opposed.
Well, thanks, everybody. I'm excited to be the president for 2022. I have a passion for this community that you probably saw throughout the election cycle. Right now, what I'd like to do is anybody that has questions, please come up and we'll try to answer those questions. We have some online ones that we'll cover first, and then we'll cover the folks that are here in person. So I ask the board, since I am new to this, I won't have a lot of the answers, and some of these I've looked at beforehand. We'll have to follow up. So one of the things I wanted to make a commitment to the community about is as we get questions both through email and in person, if we can't follow them up or answer them in the meeting, we will follow up with you in writing. So we'll basically publish it to everybody, so we can make sure we have improved communications with the board, the association, and the community. Okay, so we're gonna adjourn the meeting, the board meeting now, and then take questions and read the questions that we've received. Jason Hostler was wondering if there were any updates on the lake report. It was his understanding from Josh would publish in October, November, specifically in regard to dredging of coves that are shallowing quite a bit. I don't know if anybody's got any update on that, Dwayne?
There's another question that goes along with that, if you wanna read them, we would do
You want
all
a
that.
motion to adjourn as well? And second it.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
yeah. All those, well, you need. He's got to call. Yeah, you gotta call. You gotta call motion to adjourn, and Suzie made a motion. and
Okay.
seconded.
The meeting is adjourned.
It's seconded with a vote.
I second. Everybody in favor?
Yes.
In favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Okay.
Thanks, Susie.
These questions, these two questions, I forgot to tell you, they're kinda combined.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple different lake questions, one from Gary Klein, one from Jason. Do you have any updates on those, Dwayne? On dredging the lakes, testing the lake for safety? I know there's requirements, to test lakes every year by the state of, Missouri. I didn't know if there was an update.
We was trying to get an estimate on the lake dredging from a company all throughout the year. It's been a long process, and they haven't really gave us any firm numbers. Also, we gotta have a budget to work with. That's the main thing. We gotta put it in the budget this year. We started this about November. At that time, we felt it was probably best to wait for a new board to take charge and get a budget and see what we have to spend. But that is definitely something that I believe all the board members are in favor of getting done. We realize it's a problem, and we will work on it. I'm certain Jay will head that direction as well.
Yeah, we'll bring it up to the next board meeting to put together that plan that Dwayne talked about and publish that to the community. But like you said, it's quite expensive, so we'll have to figure out, how to pay for that and manage that. We've got ongoing paving projects and other things going on, right? And then, anybody have an update on the EPA ground remediation? I believe it's still in progress, isn't it?
Still in
Yeah, we haven't done
progress.
my notes, yeah.
We allow them 20 properties open at a time. The complaints really have stopped. I mean, this started off a big, major problem the year before last, and since we put restrictions on them like that, it's come around a great deal. If you're waiting on them, I would suggest contacting them and seeing where they're at. The holdup's not on our end.
We have been attempting to, just it's difficult to get through to the EPA, unfortunately.
It is, yes.
This is also from Gary Klein. Is there a map or schedule for the roads that are to be paved next? If so, is East Lafitte starting by Rue Charles to Callista on the list to be done?
There's a road plan up to 2023 in Public Works office. Anybody can look at that. We have added to a significant amount last year. There is still a 2023 up to 2023 road plan in Public Works. If anybody would like a copy of it, we can get it for you.
And then, do we test the lakes for safety reasons in different areas? If so, what do we test for?
I'm not sure what exactly they test for. They do test the University of Missouri Extension. There's a gentleman over on Lake Shane. I can't think of his name. And he works with them, and he has all the water quality reports. Those can be gotten for sure. Those, do we have a copy of those at the office, or
The ones we do, not the ones that Missouri University does. They
Okay.
do those regularly.
okay. But we have our copies at the office, so.
So all these questions, we will follow up with. I'll follow up personally to make sure they're answered in a detail. We'll publish those at a place to be determined, because I know there's some ambiguity here, but we'll follow up. Carl, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just want, Dwayne, when you speak, could you pull the microphone over for us that are hearing is there?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We're hearing Jeremy. But, now go ahead, you.
The next question was from Stephen Denny, related to the current boil order and the water main break, and better communication with that, because it was posted on Facebook and I believe Nextdoor, but they want another way to communicate for folks that aren't on those social media sites. I don't know if anybody's got any feedback on that, but that's been a constant issue, and we have a few ideas to improve the communication and a place where people can go to get that information that don't have social media. And
On the Pay HOA system, there is a way to do email blasts, and that's something that I would like to discuss with the office to use on a more consistent basis. But in order for it to work for the community, we have to have your phone numbers. I was helping Lori, or she was helping me during the election when we were looking at the accounts, and I noticed a lot of people that do not have their address or their phone number. Well, their address is in there, but their phone number is not in there. If you lose your boat, or if your ATV is stolen and we find it, that's how we contact you. So we really want the residents to make sure that we have an active phone number for you. Dogs. When Chris goes out and there's a loose dog, he can take that dog directly home if he can figure out whose dog it is. It needs to be registered, have a tag, so we can go into the system, figure out whose dog it is, and take it back to the owner, so that we don't have to put this animal in our pound. So we really are going to be active on Facebook, Nextdoor, our social media, to try to get people to update their accounts and give their phone numbers. You don't have to use your account for Pay HOA if you don't want to. You don't have to make your payments through the system, but we need a phone number. Sure.
Just a comment, though there are a lot of residents that don't do social media, so I thought the HOA was supposed to be keeping
20.
can text and it can send an email.
Right.
Okay, so you, in any of these plans for communication, we have to take into consideration a lot of the residents that don't do social media and that type of thing.
Well, that's why we were
But they
talking
have
about
a phone.
email
No, I
blasts,
know,
yeah.
that's why I'm saying text,
Yeah.
you know, as opposed to emails.
Oh.
Because a lot of people don't have emails. Some of them just didn't have phone calls.
Yeah. We can figure that out. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Carl?
I guess I shouldn't wait, but in regards to things like notification for the ball water, for the older generation who are into social media and that all this fancy dancy stuff with the phones, I would like to suggest that where our two main communication boards are, up across from the gas station and the one coming in by the association building, there be some type of a special sign put up when you have something like a ball water or some other important bit of information that could be put up at that time, and when it's no longer necessary, you can easily remove and let the old grapevine, way of communicating, which most old timers are.
Most of the time they're not
pretty
community
good
oriented.
at. They can call their friends and neighbors and stuff, know that they don't get the
Yeah.
information. That's how I got my information from my sister today. She said, did you hear that? No. And then,
It's not a bad idea, Carl. I know most of the boil orders only affect certain areas, but I think it's something we should look into, because you put a high visibility sign, like you said, when you go in, say, boil order in effect for Lake Lafitte or something like that.
That's just
My-
a thought and a suggestion, you know.
It's a good idea. Like it. So, Carol, I think you had a question?
Oh, I've got several.
In September, I was here. I expressed our road's dismay about not being paved. I did go around. We do have the residents' signatures on here, basically telling the board that unless our road is paved, you are not gonna receive any dues from us. We've had several on there that have lived on that road for 20 years. My road has been on and off the pave, chip, whatever they're gonna do, many times to take it off. So I have the signed documentation here. We're gonna present it to you. And we will not, so you need to make, unless our road's paved, you need to make sure that our dues money isn't included in your budget.
Well, you do realize there will be penalties.
Oh, no, we've put on here also that we're not gonna be responsible for penalties. It's your fault that the
That'd be a
road's
good
not
one.
paved.
That would
That's
be-
okay, we'll have the attorney deal with
I
it.
want that deal, I want that deal as
Yeah,
well. I'd like to get part of that. How do I, can I sign that?
We have not seen any financial reports out of the board for over a year, so I have placed in writing my request to get a financial report. We were told that the program didn't work. We weren't told this until 7 months into the program that you figured out that it didn't work. The program that's being used now, I believe, was suggested by Maloney, Wright, and Robbins last year, and the people on the financial committee. And that's what's being used now. They took the advice from Melissa Pat, Lori Pope, and Mr. Demir on the current program that's not being used. So we've wasted that money when we should have been using a program that was suggested by the accounting firm in the first place. I do know, I am not an IT person, but I do know that a program can only work as well as the information you put in. So if you put in the wrong information, it's not gonna give you the right information that you want. I know mine, if you put it in, it tells you, I can't go any further. You need to do this, you need to do that. I don't know who's been training on the programs, I don't know how well they know the programs, but this should have been investigated long before 7 months came up. And there's something else that I found out that I wasn't aware of, and I'm not sure many people are. Is it true that this new sheriff's department that we have patrols other places in Terre de Lac,
Other places in Terre de Lac?
other than Terre de Lac?
No, they do not. They get called out for mutual aid, just like they always do in
No,
Terre de Lac.
no, we were told by a deputy, because a friend of mine's house got stolen, some stuff in, that this sheriff department patrols Leadwood, down Stony Point, out Highway 47, and that it was suggested by the association, I don't know if it was everybody, the board, the president, that only one officer be on shift at a time. So since this is going on, we're paying for gas for 5,000, how many miles did you say we went?
756.
How many of those were in Terre de Lac?
Carol, I'm gonna tell you, you've been
How many of
highly-
those were in Terre de Lac?
Carol, I'm gonna tell you, you've been highly misinformed on your information.
I don't think so, because this came from one of your officers.
Do you know which
Do
one?
you know which one?
No, I don't, but I could get the name.
That'll work.
Would you do that?
But that's what they told us. So you're telling me that we have 900, about, what, 90 miles here in Terre de Lac?
About 100 miles of road, yeah.
About 100 miles?
Mhm.
And they've traveled around 5,000?
53
Wow. And
53
how
times
many
in a
of their
month.
calls, let's see, they got 200 and some calls, 254 calls. How many of those were in Terre de Lac? Okay. I was also given access to, I don't know what they call it, some kind of payment thing. Dwayne, when you changed this over, you said that we would be saving $150,000 to $200,000, or that's what this budget would cost for the sheriff's department,
Segment, yeah.
that it would do that.
Mhm.
As of August, we've gone over $300,000.
We have?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, you just have to add it up. There's like 4,000 in repairs. Actually, we pay for everything. And I thought that once they went into St. Francis County, that we were gonna be responsible for their liability insurance, and that was it. But we're responsible for workers' comp, for their liability insurance, for their salaries, for their retirement, for the health, $40,000 in health, their radios, repairs on the cars, uniforms, all the liability insurance, and all the fuel. But there is a big question, there's one fee under there, $28,000 in miscellaneous. How do you have $28,000 in miscellaneous?
Carol, first of all, your number, okay, I did say, at first I thought we was gonna save, we saved about 105,000, 107,000 if I remember right, so my first guesstimate was off about $50,000. I would call that pretty good, maybe not to your standards, but I would call it pretty good. I would say that, you know, it's 53
But
times
this
around
is
the
just up
development.
until August, and it's 300,000,
No,
you still
you're-
have
you
September,
need to come on in
October,
tomorrow and
November,
We'll have a talk and I'll show you some facts.
and
'cause
December. I
you're
can show
high.
you them too.
Yeah, I signed the check.
So I'm just kinda wondering, okay, so if you have all this, what is the miscellaneous?
Carol, I'd like for you to come up there tomorrow and I'll show you, because
I work, I don't have time to mess with all your stuff. What is 28,000
your
miscellaneous?
numbers are off about $100,000 to start with. If you'd like to come up.
Okay, well then, this was provided, so whoever provided this information provided $100,000 worth of wrong information,
Yes,
so you
ma'am.
probably need to check into that.
Unless someone's signed the check other than us four officers, I couldn't. tell you.
I don't know. I just really hope that this board gets their act together.
Mhm.
You need to start listening to the majority of the people out here, instead of making all these big decisions on your own. I realize that's why you're a board, but some of the stuff that you guys have done is just unacceptable, and if it keeps going on, I think we need to go to a management-type situation community. Because without us paying dues, there is no salary, there's no pet projects. It all comes down to us paying. And there's a lot of people, not just me, a lot of people that are very unhappy. But here are the documents and my request for a copy of the financials. And it's requested under state statute. Thank you.
That one don't pay anyway.
Do we have any other questions?
Anyway.
Again, I'm excited to be your president for 2022. with the goal of, again, they talked about all along, enhanced communications. We are working diligently on the financials. I've been up there asking the same kind of questions the residents have. We're going in the right direction, folks. We absolutely are. There's a lot of good projects. The road paving project that started last year continues. We'll make sure that updated plan is available for everybody else. And again, I'll follow up with more details on some of these questions that were submitted today.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
How can you figure next year's budget when you have no idea what's been spent this past year, since you don't have a financial to go by?
It's done.
What?
It is done. It's been,
Yeah.
it's turned over to the accountants. I mean, it's all can be completed through
Well, if
December.
it's all there, why hasn't it been shared then? Because people have been asking for copies of the financials for a year.
Carol will be done when the accountants get it done. It's all been handed over to them, I can assure you.
Again, any other questions? Yes.
The home on House Road has been burnt. When is that gonna be cleaned up?
Deb, any thoughts on that? I know you.
I would like for it to be cleaned up like last year, but, it's in bankruptcy.
Okay,
There's
let me ask-
nothing that we,
Let me ask you another question. Since we're responsible, TDL's responsible for surrounding area and stuff like that, and if it's a bankruptcy, why don't we get in contact, somebody get in contact with the loan company and look, say, look, it's a bankrupt, it's cleaned up in 30 days, you're gonna charge $500 a day until it's cleaned up.
no,
Because right now, it's like crap.
No, we can't.
It's been like that for a whole 7 months.
the last two meetings, that question has come up, and I have responded that our lawyer has been in contact with the bank, with the agency, it's the claim agency, isn't it, Chris?
Yes.
That now owns the title. There's nothing we can do until it's done with bankruptcy. First it was a foreclosure, and then it was, the debt was sold, and now it's in bankruptcy. And there's not anything our lawyer can do, and he's been working on it for the last
So all
3
you're doing,
months.
you're just letting the value of the property of everybody around.
There's
you,
nothing we can do.
All of us would like to do
We
something.
would all like to do something, but there's nothing we can do
Well, you
legally.
got code enforcement, but you don't enforce it.
We do
To answer your
enforce.
question, sir, if I may, once
Go
the
ahead.
banks have actually determined who officially owns the property, as of right now, the previous owner is the one who does. Bankruptcy has been filed. As such, until that's been settled in the court, technically there is no owner of it, since the courts have to decide who is responsible for it.
Okay, then why don't we
Once
get in
that
and clear it up?
happens, I can start putting fines on them until they clean it up. But until then, I have nobody to fine until the courts have done this. COVID slows that down dramatically.
And not only that, because it's private property,
Yeah.
even though we don't know ownership at this time, anybody going and taking action on that property, it's trespassing.
Nobody decides somebody
the
gained
property.
by the property owner, which until the courts sort that out,
Exactly.
is able to even enter the property because now it's not a safe structure.
I think we all agree with you.
We run it down,
Yeah.
we'd love to stop talking about it. So, we're limited.
Your hands are tied.
Question?
Any road work that's done in the future, is it gonna all just be patchwork until that loan's paid off for the big paving job that was done?
No, that wasn't the plan at all. That might be patchwork done until we get the paving project next year. Of course, you know, they'll patch through the winter and there's road cuts and this and that, but that was not the plan at all. Plan was to continue with the road plan. That was an extra. We realized the heart of the infrastructure was failing. It was getting all these roads built up around it, but when you drive down to get to these nice roads, you're beating your head off. Well, you drive to Lafitte, you understand, drive down Champs-Élysées. It does you no good to get these secondary roads and if your arteries are failing. So the goal was to go above and beyond and get all those done and continue as planned next year with the 2023, or 2022, I'm sorry, road plan. And not miss a beat. That was just the extra.
Carl, you only get one more question, Carl.
Call it age discrimination. Just a thought, in regards to the home there that everybody's put down, I pass it all the time like everybody else does. Maybe somebody could investigate if there would be a possibility to put some type of structure, a wall, on, isn't there an easement or something where you could, people wouldn't have to look at it as they're going by, is what I'm saying, on the road part.
I had a feeling the day you put that wall
Yeah,
up
it'll be
is the
closed.
day that they say they're gonna tear it down, you know?
Well,
There'd be money, good money stuck in that.
Just a thought, suggest that maybe just as temporary, inexpensive as possible, something to resolve that issue until it is totally solved. But it's just a thought.
Maybe we'll look into that, cause similar to what, some of these construction companies do it around properties, where they have kind of a nice painted fence. Wouldn't hurt to look into it. Thanks, Carl.
Any more questions? Guess that's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Good.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.